The Giants have had a slew of injuries, they've had a shaky bullpen, they've had prolonged slumps in their starting lineup. And they're 6 games up on the Dodgers in the National League West. So with that backdrop, there's not the urgency to make a deal just yet. Brewers coming to town, all the talk about Ryan Braun possibly being dealt to the Giants. There are a couple of reasons to say, yeah, that might be a fit. They need a right-handed bat. They're a left-handed heavy lineup. He's got power. He's been a hot hitter of late. He's actually hit better on the road than he has at hitter-friendly Miller Park. But there are more reasons to say no to this one. He's a 30-something outfielder who's had a lot of injuries of late, and they already have guys like that. And he has an onerous contract, owed $100 million, including an option for 2021. That's hard for the Giants to take on. And then there's that history with the PED use and the way he threw the lab research guy under the bus. Now that lab tester apparently made amends with Ryan Braun later on, but it's hard to forget that, especially on a club that's had to deal with Barry Bonds and more recently Melky Cabrera. So probably a big fat no to that one. What the Giants ought to be looking at, if they're looking at outfielders, is somebody younger. If you're going to give up prospects, give it up to somebody who has fewer miles on the tire. You know, they're talking about Jay Bruce. Well, he's a left-handed bat, so that's not exactly a fit, but he's got the power to leave every ballpark in America. And so if you're going to give up young prospects, you give it up to somebody who's still in their 20s as opposed to somebody in their 30s. And the Reds may be more willing to deal with the Giants. After all, they came out pretty well in the Mike Leake, Adam Duvall deal. So we'll see about that. But probably still not as likely as the Giants going for a lower level deal. And hopefully for a young outfielder, not just a rental, somebody who can stick around. But I think it's probably more likely that they deal for bullpen help. Santiago Casilla has been shaky. They're having trouble defining the roles in the 7th and 8th inning. They can go out and get an arm who can get both lefties and righties out, who is younger, at a relatively low cost. Andrew Miller, that'd be great. I'm not sure about any of the others out there. Dellin Betances from the Yankees, he would certainly be a help. Aroldis Chapman comes with baggage too and would be expensive as well. Those are not likely deals. There are other clubs with greater wherewithal in terms of prospects that are going to be able to make those deals. It's probably not the realistic way to go, even though it seems like a guy like Miller or Aroldis Chapman, at least on the baseball field, would be a fit for the Giants. But just getting another arm in there would be helpful for a team that has leaned heavily on those top 3 starters. I don't know if they're going to continue to be those guys, but you have reasonable expectation that at least Bumgarner and Cueto will continue to perform. So it comes down to you have a little greater depth in your starting rotation than even the Dodgers. The Dodgers would be out of it without Clayton Kershaw. So you can wait. You're up 6 games. You've got a little wiggle room. You see how things develop into mid-July. Then you'll see whether there are more teams that are falling out of contention, that are a little more willing to deal, and a little more desperate.